Ladies, gentlemen, welcome to a capsule selection. Today, we're going to talk about a little bit of an offshoot to fragrance collecting and the community in which we are a part of. When it comes to scents that have a little peculiarity to them, some that have a little bit off of the beaten path. I'm a collector and I love to have these as a connoisseur, an aficionado, so to speak. Someone who really wants not just the commonality of fragrances. I want something off the beaten path that is very strange in some ways, but beautiful. So in this capsule selection, I have a few fragrances that I think are incredibly smelling. They have some peculiarity to them, some little panache to them, something that is not of every day. And I want to present those to you in a way that I think is a beautiful scent profile. So these scents are not just the convention. They challenge you. They're fragrances that embrace the strange yet captivate the senses. And to me, these are not just your everyday compositions like I stated. They are fragrances that have an olfactory work of art designed into them for those who appreciate the unconventional, for those who love the daring and beautiful part and obscure parts of perfumery. So in this capsule, we're going to talk about and explore the fragrances that define the actual strange beauty. An avant-garde style, yet sophisticated. The take on perfumery that deserves a place in everyone's wardrobe. So if this sounds like the type of content you think that you'll enjoy, pull up a seat, pour a glass, and of course, let's enhance. Cheers. So ladies, gentlemen, just before I get into the capsule, I want to discuss, lifestyle, just a little bit. As you guys may know, I am a collector of many things, and one of the things I love to do is have a library. I talk about libraries often on this channel, and having a library is something that is pertinent for every household. I think it is not only for decor, but for education. You have to have somewhere to sit down and take your mind away from the blurbs that come across your screen, on your computer and on your phone. You want to have something that has some continuity to it that you can go back to it every single day if you choose to, or once a year if you choose to. Just something to take your mind off of the everyday things in life. And for me, one of those things is not only literature in the form of fiction and nonfiction, but the beauty of pictures that come from the artists that are photographers. So I picked up, or should I say I received the gift of, a beautiful gift from a friend that came today from Bergdorf Goodman. And if you guys know about Ceylon is one of the best when it comes to the actual production of coffee table books, fine bookmakers. And this is a book from them. Very excited to have this. So as I tear into this, I had to break out the handy zero tolerance knife. I just want to simply show you guys some of the exciting photographs really quick of what it is that Ceylon does as a company to create these memorable artifacts. So this book is the James Bond style about Ceylon. If you guys don't know about this particular company, I say that this is one of the best investment companies when it comes to the coffee table and decorative books, for they are so well crafted, from cigar content, wine content, lifestyle content. This is one of those companies that just makes some impeccable books. This one retails for $120, and it is a phenomenal gift to receive. At the end of this video, I'll open this up and go through a few of the pages and show you exactly what it is this book has to offer when it talks of James Bond style, which I am sure many of you gentlemen are stylish men who want to look as clean and as cut and well groomed as James Bond does. So I'll show you a few pictures at the end of the video. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dry Down, the lifestyle channel where we as enthusiasts aspire to enhance and elevate our olfactive sensory experiences through the understanding of the different aromas, facets, and nuances of scent, cigars, and wines. I'm your host, Chris. Welcome to today's experience. What I'm experiencing today, I just want to bring about some of the fragrances in my collection, in my wardrobe. They're just off the beaten path, as I stated in the prologue. These are fragrances they have a beauty about them, but there's notes and some contrast into where the perfumer really grew into an essence and made something that was just one of those fragrances that just will never fit into the category of mass appealing. But they do have some beauty about them. So each of these stories particularly, they tell a story, a raw, evocative, settling, or unsettling, I should say, but always mesmerizing. To me, they pushed boundaries while maintaining an air of refinement and distinction. They make these fragrances more than just a statement piece, so to speak. These are fragrances for those who seek uniqueness, and with depth, those who are understanding of luxury products, these are the perfect ones. They're often found with this beauty in the unexpected. So let's get into these 6 fragrances, talk about the enigmatic fragrances that they are, each with its own signature scent and its own identity, and how it can make a mark on your particular wardrobe and your scent profile. So when it comes to Ceylon, it's one of those scents that is just a beautiful velvet whisper of exotic spices. The hallmark to this one, it has a rich spiced tea accord infused with milky sweetness and soft woods. To me, the signature raw materials of this one, which are the black tea, the cinnamon, the sandalwood, and the honey, they develop on the skin, which is beautiful. It opens with a warm spice infusion that is followed by the heart of smooth Ceylon tea, which is the characteristic of this scent. It's wrapped in a honey, earthy, warm oud that settles into a refined sandalwood base that just comes off very sexy, very appealing. It's one of those fragrances. I didn't bring out any scent strips, so I'll sniff from the atomizer. It has that barnyard, that very seductive to me, yet barnyard oud that the house of Xerjoff loves to use. It's the Laotian oud that has that very distinctive barnyard feel, but once it settles into the skin, it is sexy. It is one that's very compelling, and to me, I love and enjoy the way that this signature scent or scent can become a signature because it's very sexy. The reason I will put this in a wardrobe is because Ceylon embodies the balance between comfort and elegance. It's an erotic yet poised aroma that feels equally at home in a tailored suit or tailored cashmere coat or a dimly lit jazz lounge that is just one that carries the air of understated opulence while perfect for the man who appreciates the subtle distinction of what an oud fragrance can do. If you're looking for something with a very sweet, spicy oud accord, oud note that takes you into another realm, I would say, because this is one that feels challenging. It is challenging, but it's very sophisticated and sexy, and infuse it with almost this indolic jasmine that I believe is in the note structure, but I can't recall just off the top of my head. That makes for one of the more sexy oud-based fragrances from the Xerjoff Oud Stars line that I've come to adore and love. So if you're looking for something, like I said, it has a soft, subtle sweetness of Ceylon tea, and it's a very aromatic tea, but still sexy and comforting, while adding the addition of that oud, which is that barnyard funk. That's the strangeness of it. That's the strange beauty of it. As it develops on the skin, though, after the oud wears down, and that's always one thing about the Laotian oud from Xerjoff. Ladies and gentlemen, on this particular list, as strange beauty comes to mind, there's a fragrance from the house. This is a little bit of a I would say an obscure house. It's not one of the most popular niche fragrance houses on the market, but Narcotica is making some beautiful scents, from Doza, Amber Intense, to Dolce Melode. There's some very sweet fragrances, but they have some treatments inside of them that make them very peculiar and sexy. And so when it comes to this particular scent, to me, this is a hypnotic elixir that shows the very beautiful contrast between shadows and lights. It's one that develops very, very harshly, astringently in the opening. The traits of this one are a decadent, almost intoxicating amber resonance type of scent, but it has these beauty, or this beauty about it that comes in the opening that is off-putting but opulent. And I say that because it's a very beautiful, astringent yet animalic profile of a mixture of pine, like a balsamic pine resin, and the note of black currant. What that black currant does in this particular scent is what throws people off immediately in the opening. To me, it took a very long time to develop my senses around this after being told from many of people I respect in my hobby, in our hobby, that this was a beautiful scent. And I got it in as a blind buy. Purposefully, I do not do a lot of blind buy. I try not to. This one was a blind buy because of the most amount of people that I respect were showing me that this was a scent to get, and the profile was beautiful. To me, that black currant bud is an off-putting, strange beauty to this particular scent. The raw materials in this one that become off beautiful are the labdanum, tonka bean, benzoin. They develop on the skin like this bold resonance opening, followed by a thick labdanum base an embrace. And that to me is a sensual smokiness that adds to the dry down coming from the amber and the benzoins and the actual tobacco in this particular scent. A lot of times this one is hard for even me to wear because of that opening, and that's the strange beauty. As I state again, I'm thinking of so many profiles in my collection that I would equate this to, and the one thing I'm becoming, I'll say this is a labdanum driven amber fragrance. And while this in no way, shape, or form is a fragrance that competes with the blending and I would say even quality of Parfum de la Nuit collection from Roja Parfums, I would say that something like this is a precursor to that collection. 1, 2, and 3 are just phenomenal fragrances when it comes to the PDLN. But this one here has some of the same attributes built into it. So as a precursor, I will state that this is one that has, at the price point, if you want to get into that range of perfumes and have that strange animalic feel, you know, that feral feel, that feral touch with that sensuality and sexuality while having a bit of allure and strange appeal to it, I think that this is a precursor to those type of fragrances. I think that if you get this one in your collection at a price point of about $200, you will be pleased with that if you're looking for that type of statement making fragrance. I would say that to many of you, if I was thinking about why it would belong in a wardrobe, I think that you'd have to be a sophisticated wearer of fragrances. I don't think you can wear this as a novice. I think and believe that this is a luxury turned mysterious type of amber fragrance. It has a lot of gravitas to it, but at the nighttime connoisseur, they can wear that, but the daytime wearer, they won't want to wear this one. It's a confident fragrance, so it carries a confidence and intrigue, and it's statement. It's a statement maker. It's poised, it's sensual, it's a perfect rendezvous type of scent. So if you want to wear this to an upscale event or a soiree, this is a perfect type of scent for it. But I will say this, you have to be aware of that opening salvo of fragrance accords and notes that come across very astringent, almost cat urine-like. Have you heard about black currant? Along with that very green dose of pine they put into this one. But if you are interested in those type of fragrances that have that amber with that animalic feel, get your nose on Doza, Amber Intense from Narcotica. It's not a slouch, but it will take some character and some confidence to wear this particular scent. At the end of the day, I have heard many women say this is a very sexy fragrance though. Once again, Narcotica, Doza, Amber Intense. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about a Cecile Xerjoff perfume formula. This one here, this is a statement maker. This is Tango by the house of Masque Milano. Like I said, a statement maker. This one here to me is a tribute or an ode to the fiery dance that it is portrayed as, with this very, very beautiful leather and honey resin profile to it. The thing that makes this the most sensual is a hard mark that is built of bold animalic honey leather. Like this, it's very feral honeyed leather. I don't know how to explain that even further. It's a bold, edgy fragrance that smolders on your skin. It's very sexy and sensual in the way that it wears. Cecile Xerjoff is like one of those phenomenal perfumers that you all know about and have heard about. With her signature on this one, I would say that she mostly brought out the honey, the leather, the amber, and the spices in her portfolio to bring about a scent that was really captivating, is captivating, but it has a scent inside of it. That spice of cumin. If you're not a fan of cumin, it's that sweaty profile of fragrance and perfumes that most people get off-put by, and it has a dose of that is very high. It's the sensual part of this one that makes it edgy, make it a little bit raunchy. That's what it was made for, and it's a very sensual one. If you've been anywhere in Fragcom for the last 5 years, you would have heard this. Probably not much this year, because it's going to a more mass appealing profile in a lot of people's conversations. But to me, things like this, the way they develop on skin, the sexiness, the allure of them, it's very, very profound the way that she developed this particular scent. And I believe this is their bestseller, and it will be that for a reason if it is. Very sexy fragrance at the end of the day. It comes on, like I stated, honeyed leather with resin, labdanum, sweet spices. Smells like a little bit of tobacco inside of it, of course. But that cumin is the note that really much so gets you. As I would think that how it develops on my skin, the spice honey opening, along with that labdanum coming into it, moving into like this sultry, smoky leather heart, and like this resin-laden dry down that just clings to the skin with undeniable sensuality, and that just makes it sexy for me. I think that this would ultimately belong in each one of your fragrance wardrobes as a sophisticated wardrobe. That having this is one of those fragrances that when you've dated someone for a while and you want to pull out a wild card or a new scent profile, so to speak, to catch them off their, put them off their feet, put them off their their leverage, so to speak. This is a fragrance that can very much so do that with a sex appeal to it. It's one that I think that is with an olfactory equivalent of something burning, something slow burning, something as sexual and slow burning and seductive as the Tango. It's a primal scent that is poised yet untamed. And that's the sexy part about this one when you think about the adjectives that you would use. This is a fragrance for the gentleman who appreciates the edge and elegance of a well-measured evening. It equals a scent that whispers, danger, but exudes control at the end of the day. It's sexy as hell. Nothing more, nothing less. It's one of those fragrances that Xerjoff can really put a mark on, really brought to the market as a fire fragrance, and that's exactly what it is and does. It's sexy as hell. That has been Tango by the house of Masque Milano. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about a fragrance from the house of QUARTANA. QUARTANA is really one of those niche houses that just, it has its following, and I am one of those followers of it. I have 3 of their perfumes, and they very much so sit in that enigmatic gothic feel of fragrances. This one here, to me, is one of the best floral incense, petrolic style of fragrances. It's gothic, it's enigmatic, and it's beautiful. It's darkened with woods and balsamic intrigue, and it's sexy as hell. It is one that has this gasoline accord. It's, gasoline note, I should say. I don't know how they built it. I can't remember how they built it. I did a perfume review on this when I first got it. But the scent profile on this one is a tremendously done scent by Luca Maffei, who many of you are becoming aware of as a perfumer as well. Luca Maffei is doing some tremendous work in this genre of perfumes with that avant-garde scent on the skin. Frankincense and myrrh is the ultimate dry down of this one. It's a leather-based fragrance as well, with a lot of dark and black florals in the mid of this one that just develop on the skin with a sharp resinous incense that is the bite of this one. It unfolds in a shadowy floral heart as well, so it's like a lot of dark violet inside of this one. And I would say almost, if you're thinking about a fragrance that you could compare this to while I speak, I would say take Dior Fahrenheit and put it as far into its development as a niche artisan style of fragrance as you could put it. It still has that Dior Fahrenheit style and beauty of it, but it's so avant-garde. And the thing about it, the balsamic sweetness and that floral arrangement of violet and like some white florals, along with some dark petals of maybe a orchid or something like that, they do make this a very becoming fragrance to wear. But the gasoline note is that one strange thing about this particular scent that really can drive it home as a strange love for many of you. This is a scent to me that it revels in mystery. The architects of this one are enigmatic people. Their presence that they have felt that it's very, very meticulous. It's almost like a brutalist architect where they have that reinforced concrete. Have you ever heard of a brutalist architect? Look it up and you'll see exactly what I'm saying. This is the type of scent that someone who is as stoic as that manufacturer and architect would wear. Very, very sensual, very, very sexy as well at the end of the day. Like I said, it teeters along the Dior Fahrenheit scent, but with that gasoline, it's very beautiful. I would wear this mostly in evening wear, dimly lit, settings, somewhere where I'm going to a wine bar where that note of violet and leather and resins will carry well inside of a dark lit wine bar. This is one perfume that is for the intellectual. It's a perfume that's built for the intellectual. It's a scent that invites curiosity while maintaining an air of attainability as well. It's sexy. It's Ierofante by the house of QUARTANA, and I do believe this has won several awards as a perfume. So if you have a chance, get your nose on Ierofante. I'm impressed with this one. I'm wearing it a lot too. It might not seem like it, but this is one that you will get 1 or 2 sprays out of, and that gasoline accord will have you on fire. Get your chance to get a sample of it. Next up on the list, guys, I have a fragrance here in their first interracial bottle introduction. I do see that they have changed the bottles in this particular perfume. This here is an opulent desert roll perfume, silk roll perfume that is opulent with spices and balsamic warmth, but it has some aromatic traits to it that just will overcome you with so much tremendous tenacity. It's a rich, spiced oriental amber with a lot of civet and castoreum scent notes to it. I don't know if it's real. I would only assume that it's not real castoreum because I don't know if this brand has used that. I know it's a out-of-state brand, I believe, out of America. So they may be able to use certain accords and notes that we don't know about, but to me this one smells so carnal, so enveloping of sexy. I also detect what is that floral decaying tuberose scent that is just profound in some fragrances, and that's one thing about this one. It can be enticing, It can be sexy, but it's ultimately a feral perfume that is sweetened with amber, spices, and dates. To me, the dates, the myrrh, and the oud-like warmth that is in this one makes it a signature profile for anyone looking for a fantastic silk road scent with a lot of strange beauty. The dried fruits, frankincense, cinnamon, balsams, they are one with the wearer when you put this on. You put on 2 or 3 sprays of Camel and you're going to have a scent for the day. To me, it is a very sexy scent that begins with the sweet spice dates. Like I said, it transitions then into a resinous, smoky fragrance that has a lot of warmth, and it lingers as it gets into the depth of the base of this one. It has a lot of luxurious balsamic scents at the base of this one that come on very strong after the 35 to 45 minute mark, making it a tad bit more tolerant for those who want to wear this particular scent and those around them. But that first 30 minutes to 45 minutes is a doozy if you're not used to these type of fragrance profiles. It's a voyage. It's a voyage into the unknown. It's opulent, it's warm, it's I would say almost undeniably magnetic as well, because it is one of those scents that you're like, damn, what you got on? It's not one that stinks as much as it is a scent that just has a divertive type of scent profile to it. Kind of like, it's not one that you will wear that is so harsh that no one around you will like it, but it is one that if people can't understand what the scent of castoreum, or don't believe that castoreum is sexy of a profile, it will come off quite unalluring to them. But to me, it's an aroma that is basically of a distant land. Basically, that's what it is. They're trying to meet and greet exactly what the Camel is and was during the Silk Road period in time. So it's perfect for a man who leaves, or perfect for a man who sees himself in life and leads a life that is of exploration and also the finer things because of that balsamic sweetness at the end. So if you're draped in a bespoke wool coat during the wintertime, or like a refined ensemble that's like wool and flannel, 3-piece suit, like an Irish 3-piece suit from like Double RL, this is the type of scent that I can see a cultured individual wearing, because it is that type of cultured scent that has a little bit of luxury to it. That's been Camel by the House of Zoologist, a very strange and beautiful fragrance. Ladies and gentlemen, before I end this particular video, as always, you guys know, like I stated in the beginning, the lifestyle content. Today, if you guys are interested, I will be wearing a beautiful pair of Jacques Marie Masque. This is the Duke in gold. I don't know if you guys have seen these yet, maybe on Instagram, but these are the Duke in gold as my outerwear for today. Very beautiful aviator frame. It is in gold with a green gradient lens. Very sexy, very boisterous, very it overcomes you if you allow it to. But it's sexy at the end of the day. These are sexy frame. Look good on ladies and gentlemen. This is a unisex style aviator. It has the clear bone laminate nose or eyebrow bridge with a cigarette hole, and this was a tribute to a movie. I can't remember the name of the movie off the top of my head, but it's the Duke series in gold. I forget the name of the movie. It's a quirky film that came out in the 80s, 90s maybe, that they came in and made a great funny film, but it was about a writer. I'll look it up and probably put it in the show notes, but that's what I'm wearing today as my shades. And also, as I stated, I wanted to show you guys a few pictures of this James Bond book, so I will do that. I'll just thumb through and just show you quick pictures of what I think Ceylon does perfectly when it comes to the commentary and structures of their books. This is a beautiful picture book, I am sure. I'm opening it just as you have. So that's a picture of Grace Jones in some of the early films. And you're going to see that a lot of these pictures are just beautiful, man. I think this is Spectre. Yes. You gotta forgive me, I have somebody working on the house. This is a great book. That's Halle Berry when she played with Pierce Brosnan. I'm going to go through this quickly because, as I want to show you, I do have someone outside working on the home building some things for me. This is Sean Connery when he was Bond in the early 70s, late 60s. Let me see another picture I can get. Some blonde Bond beauties. There's Sean Connery again. I'll pass over some of these, go to the end of the book. Here is Roger Moore. So as I stated, Ceylon, man, they do some fantastic work. That was Moonwalker, I believe. Pierce Brosnan in front of the Aston Martin. Who else we got here? It's a beautiful book, fellas. Just get your if you have the ability to go to any bookstore, I got this from Bergdorf Goodman as a gift. Like I stated, a wonderful, wonderful gift from a wonderful, wonderful friend. And here's Bond as we see him now. But this has been and is one of the best coffee table books if you are a fan of the James Bond series or James Bond style of dress, his accessories. And I'm sure, as you know, James Bond wore florist fragrances, and there's quite a few florist fragrances that are attributed to James Bond, the 007 series. I don't have any of those yet, but I do think I'll be picking up one just to place on top of this actual book on my shelf to give it a little bit of a panache as well. That's been the James Bond style book. Great book. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Strange Beauty. This has just been a list of fragrances that I know many of you guys are interested in. Many I know on this channel have a lot of these styles of fragrances, and they're beautiful fragrances in their own right. And they're not for the faint of heart, of course. So that's why I like to introduce them to you guys as some that I picked up that have a confidence in knowing that they smell good enough that many of you will want to pick them up with your intrigue. So let me know if you ever have any of these fragrances in your lineup that you find just a little bit off-putting but want the community to know about. Drop a little hook below, man. We all want to know about those fragrances, to know, what seeks, where that danger lies inside of these fragrances, because the lure of the unknown and the richness of the unexplored is what we're here for. The sophistication, the unconventional, those things, those styles are exactly what we want in a lot of perfumes. We don't always want something that smells of ambroxan and pineapple. So these 5 fragrances were something I wanted to introduce to you guys. They have a standard. They stand amongst giants in this perfume industry, and they hold their own. They're artistic impressions. They're artistic expressions of daring olfactory perfumes, each one holding its own place in a man's wardrobe, and I think it deserves that. I think that the elegance of these perfumes and the way we embrace them is what makes them the best as tastemakers and trendsetters. So these are some extraordinary fragrances that I think and hope that you guys get your nose on through sampling. Until next time, until next video, peace. Also, remember, these fragrances are memories. These scents, man, every day we create something. I'm telling you, to me, this is just me speaking to you. The scent makes the memory, right? And this is what I'm loving to say. The scent makes the memory. And the collection is a legacy to leave to our children for something that's a time staple and something of us that we collected that was of our passion and desire, that these things will last a lifetime for not only us but for them as well. And then this community, this is a community of culture. We are men of culture, that we're discovering refined fragrances. The beauty in that is not just that we're comrades in this fragrance game, but in accessories and style and in thinking. That's why I love when you guys leave comments and always try to get back to you as soon as possible, if not within a week's time, mostly times in a day. Because the way that we have these conversations, the way that we understand life, and as these friendships grow on these platforms and this community, it's a beautiful thing to me. And so I want to say thank you once again. And you guys, whoever watched to the end, have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.